And the road to the White House is getting a little more crowded.
Next week, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson is expected to formally announce that he is running for the Republican nomination for president.
NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hillyard spent some time with Hutchinson and traveled across Iowa and now brings us an exclusive first on Morning News Now. Good morning, Vaughn.
Good morning, guys. Asa Hutchinson is different than the other Republican candidates who have announced at this point. Why? Because he's taking Donald Trump on directly, and he said that is the way to win this Republican nomination. This man,
hello, Governor.
Hey, how are we doing?
Good to meet you.
Is a Republican.
I might be spending as much time up here as I do in Arkansas.
Taking on Donald Trump.
I'm running for president because we need a course correction in our country. I'll just tell you very frankly, we need a course correction in the Republican Party as well.
This is Asa Hutchinson, a former congressman, a former Bush administration official, and most recently, the two-term governor of Arkansas. How are you going to do this?
Well, it's going to take a lot of shoe leather. We're going to have to be going to small venues. We're going to be visiting with people about the issues.
We spent the day in Iowa with Hutchinson, his first trip to the caucus state since formally filing his paperwork to win the Republican nomination for president. He intends to make this campaign very different than Mr. Trump's.
How we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
One focused on traveling town to town.
I'd like to have one of those mushrooms there.
Those are my favorite.
And then that New York strip. This guy looks like a Brussels sprouts guy to me.
You're the one candidate so far who is really taking Donald Trump on directly, not really going around the edges of this. Why?
Because he's a defining person in this campaign. And if you don't say, I'm different from Donald Trump, that I'm going to provide a different leadership than he does, then why are you in the race?
Why does the party need to move on from Donald Trump?
Because Donald Trump has taken us back to bitterness. He's taken us back to, what's a personal vendetta. Whenever you look at what he wants to do as president, it's more about getting even with his political enemies than leading our country, and that concerns me. Oh, listen, we are cooking that. Yeah, I like what I see.
What evidence or data have you seen that would suggest that you can win this nomination?
Well, history. Whenever you look at the history of front runners, it's not too good.
This front runner, though, is still here in Iowa this month has 80% favorability among Iowa Republicans. How do you make that not reality?
Well, you get in there and you make your case. And sure, I will concede that this is a challenge. All right.
Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump have really played to these ideas of cultural fights. And in the Republican Party, we've seen it galvanize a primary electorate. But to what extent do you fear that it alienates a part of the general electorate that you would need to win the presidency?
Well, I think you have to be careful about using the same tools the left use. Do we want the conservative government to tell businesses what you can and can't do, or what you can't speak out on and not speak out on?
You also vetoed a ban on gender-affirming care for minors in Arkansas. What went into your thought process when you did that?
I think whether you're talking about the government telling parents about vaccines, or parents telling how you raise your children on some very sensitive issues like gender identity, I think you have to be careful about getting the government right in the middle of that.
Wow, really important reporting, Vaughn. So now he's in the race, but has he previously supported former President Donald Trump?
Yes, he has. He was the Arkansas chair of Donald Trump's presidential campaign. He spoke at the 2016 Republican National Convention, saying that Donald Trump was the leader of our times. Wow. But over the course, especially after the January 6th attack, that's when Asa Hutchinson said that the Republican Party needed to move in a different direction. And look, Asa Hutchinson, he's just wrapped up his 2 terms as governor. He is a longtime social conservative. Nobody would question his Republican credentials up until this point. And that's why he said he felt that this was his moment to get into this race and to present his case to the Republican electorate that they should return to its roots.
I think he knows he's got an uphill climb to go with current polling. Trump still leading the party, essentially. I have a really important question for you. Do you like Brussels sprouts?
I love Brussels sprouts.
Okay,
He called me out in real time. I don't know. I would give him that indication, but
I'd love to see it. Vaughn Hillyard, great reporting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.